You got to stretch after a run. I'm like, no mate, I don't have to. I'm like, yeah. No mate, I don't have to stretch after a run. I've been training all my life, blah blah blah. Well, I was wrong and they was right. Do you want to know some quick and easy tips to get a faster 5k race time? Of course you do. Well, follow along to this and I guarantee you that you'll be getting faster. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Running Man Sam, and we are back again today doing some tips and tricks today. So I've done lots of shoe reviews. Don't worry, the shoe reviews will always be there. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. That's just some tips and tricks really. So today and we're doing 5 easy tips and tricks that every runner can do, mainly if you're a beginner, but also if you're sort of at an intermediate level, you've never really had much structure to your running. These are things that you can add that aren't hard, that will definitely make a difference to your race times. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like and the bell for notifications. It really does help this channel grow. The more engagement it gets, the bigger it grows, the more stuff I can bring to you guys, so cheers. So we're going to start off with number 1. Funny that, let's start at the beginning. So the first thing that I think that everybody can do to get a faster 5k time is work on your form. Now, so when I'm talking about your form, I'm talking about things like your posture, how you're running, your foot strike, those sorts of things. So it would seem that running is a really natural thing. There's also a lot more to it than just putting one foot in front of the other. Now that is the basic concept. But if you actually apply a bit more knowledge and research to what you're doing, you'll get more out of your body. So if you, as you're running, if you're standing straight with your chest out, your head forward, you're also there straight away, you're giving yourself a better lung capacity, and also you're not, if you're doing this, you're just using a lot more energy. It's going to take it out of you more. If you're running with the correct form, you're using all your muscles and all your skeletal system correctly. Work on your form and to do your own research with that. So look online, watch videos, watch this video, watch other videos on how to improve your form. What is the most important things of form? So I mean, just for me, the most important form is just standing upright like this, having your head up, working on your cadence, so how many steps per minute you take, all things like that do make a difference, because if you're just sort of leaping and bounding, you're taking more energy out of yourself. So yeah, the first one is just to work on your form, work on how you run, work on the way that you run. This is how elite level athletes get better, because they're at such a fitness level that they need to make small different changes, so they'll be constantly working on their form, their foot strike, their cadence, their leg lift, their turnover, all that sort of thing. So that's number 1. Number 2 is structure. So what I mean by structure is you don't necessarily have to be over structured and everything be really regimented and boring. You can be if that's the way you're inclined, and that's great. But for me, structure includes doing a set amount of runs a week. So say if we run 5 days a week, in that week, or that 5-day week, we want to be doing a long run. We want to be doing easy runs, tempo runs, intervals, and some sort of hill rep or some sort of hilly run. So what that does is that it means that we've got those different sessions that are training different things on different days. So for a start, if you want to get faster, you can't go out and run as fast as you can every day. So when you first start running, you'll get a PB, and the next day you'll get a PB, and a PB, and a PB, and a PB, because you're just getting better, you're getting fitter, and it's easier to get a PB. But when you get to more of an intermediate level, or you've been running for quite a while, you need structure to be able to progress. You can't just keep going out and running fast, burn out, and you're just not really working on the things that you need to be working on to get faster at that stage. So if you're doing structure to your runs, the easy runs, they will just help build your aerobic base, your aerobic fitness. So you're going out there at a nice, enjoyable pace, something that's sort of like 1.5 minutes slower than your sort of race pace would be, or even slower if you want, and just enjoying it. And then your most important ones would be sort of your intervals, which would be where you run at your goal race pace for a set amount of time. So an interval would be something like doing, I don't know, for a start would be 10 times 400, which is 0.25 mile reps at your goal race pace. So let's say your goal race pace is 7.5 minute mile pace. You would do each rep at 7.5 minute mile pace, have a rest after each interval period. This is going to teach your body to be working at that speed, and then you can slowly implement that into your racing. I go into too much detail about the structure here because that could go on forever, and I'll do some more on the individual tips that I picked today later on. So yeah, the second one is add structure to your weekly training. The third one, which goes along nicely with the videos that I've been doing, is strength and conditioning. So that sounds like something that's not very important. I'm not going to do that, Sam, don't need to. Well, you'll be making a bit of a mistake there, because strength and conditioning is vital. I mean, at the end of the day, what we're running on is muscles. If you're not training your muscles, they're not necessarily recruiting as many muscle fibres as you think you might be. In fact, running most of the time actually burns off muscle rather than sort of encouraging muscle growth, especially if you're not getting your glycogen, your protein, that sort of thing. You don't need to get big old Arnold Schwarzenegger legs or anything like that, but if you do follow along to my leg training workout or my core training workout, this is something that would help massively. But just building those muscles so they're stronger, more capable of carrying us, and you're also less likely to get injured if your muscles are stronger. Okay, so moving on to number 4 is nutrition. So this, again, it sounds like a simple one, but it is really important. We need to make sure that we're eating the right sorts of things. If you're expecting your body to perform at a good level, you need to be giving it the right sorts of fuel. So this means things like protein and obviously carbohydrates. I really don't like it when people say things like, oh, I need to avoid carbs. You really don't need to avoid carbs. Carbs are going to be your best friend as a runner because they're going to be what's supplying with your energy. You definitely don't want to be avoiding them all the time. Things like protein and glycogen are really, really important after a run to help rebuild those muscles and get those glycogen stores back up. And also things like electrolytes to replace the sodium that you're losing in your sweat when you're running. All those sorts of things are really important. So try and get your protein and your glycogen, all that sort of level, on the rise. Personally, I eat pretty much what I want and I don't feel guilty about it. And I'm not telling people to necessarily do that, that's just what I do. But the reason why I do this is because, apart from because of my injury at the moment, but I train a lot. I run every single day. I weight train pretty much every other day. And I just need the calories. So if we're going to have KFC today, we're going to have KFC today. That's not what I'm telling you to do. That's just what I'm saying I do. But what I am saying to you is to look up things like protein, glycogen, your sodium levels, all those sorts of things, as well as some supplementation, things like fish oil to reduce inflammation and all those sorts of things. So that is number 4. Fifth one that I'm going to talk about today is stretching. Now, when I first started running, everyone's like, you gotta stretch after a run at the club. You gotta stretch after a run. I'm like, no mate, I don't have to. I'm like, yeah. No mate, I don't have to stretch after a run. I've been training all my life, blah blah blah. Well, I was wrong and they was right. Stretching is really, really important. And you're all listening to this thinking, just like I did, that stretching isn't really important to Sam. We don't care about stretching. We're just gonna run and we're gonna be fine. Yes, you will be for a certain amount of time and then you will not be. After a run, your muscles go really tight and that is not what you want. They'll be pulling in certain areas and you're not going to notice it the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, week, a month, whatever, but eventually you will. Something will feel tight. It'll be your Achilles, it'll be something in your body that is pulling. And you're going to feel a pain there and you're going to think that's where the pain is, and it's not. It's going to be somewhere else because it's pulling further up in the chain. So after every run, whether you can be bothered or not, and I know that you won't want to be bothered and I can't be bothered either, but it's just part and parcel of running, is you really should be spending 15 minutes stretching. Even if it's a 2-mile run, come in and stretch all your major muscles. So stretch your soleus, your gastrocnemius, which is your calf, the upper calf muscle. Stretch your quads, stretch your hamstrings, stretch your lower back. Again, as I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail now about all the stretches, but I will do, if requested, a video on the stretches that I do after every run. You want to be holding every stretch for at least a minute in the right form. So again, I'll do a video about the stretches if you want, or watch other videos about the stretches on the right form. It's not necessarily going to make you faster by doing the stretches, but it will in a way, because you'll be more flexible, which means you can move with a greater range of movements, but it's also going to mean that you can keep doing your training properly and reducing that risk of injury, which is what we want. We want to be running injury free. Trust me, I'm injured at the moment. It's not because I don't stretch, it's because of something else. But I don't want to see other people getting injured, and adding stretching into your routine is something that everyone can do easily to try and reduce the chance of injury. So there we have it, guys. They are my 5 easy tips that you can easily do, that don't take a lot of work, to make your 5k race time get quicker. I promise you, if you start implementing these things, structure, strength training, your nutrition, your stretching, all those sorts of things into your training, I promise you, you'll start to see a difference, and also form, of course. So as always, guys, I have been Running Man Sam, and I'll see you guys in a bit.